Every rumor about the new Apple TV 4K eventually circles back to the same idea. This isn't a cosmetic refresh where Apple slaps a new coat of paint on the same internals and calls it a day. Based on what's being reported, this is a genuine internal overhaul. A new chip, upgraded wireless hardware, expanded storage, and a design philosophy clearly built around running AI workloads locally rather than just pushing pixels to a TV. If you want to understand what's actually changing under the hood, it helps to go component by component and look at what each upgrade is really for. Let's start with the centerpiece of this whole story, the chip. The current third-generation Apple TV 4K runs on the A15 Bionic, a processor that first appeared in the iPhone 13 back in 2021. It's not a bad chip by any means, but it's now 5 years old, and it was never designed with the kind of AI processing Apple is planning to lean on going forward. Multiple credible reports, including detail uncovered by Mac Rumors, point to Apple moving the new Apple TV 4K up to the A17 Pro, the same chip that debuted in the iPhone 15 Pro lineup. That's not an incremental step. It's a jump of roughly 2 full generations, and Apple has historically claimed meaningful gains in CPU speed, GPU performance, and neural engine capability with each of those generational leaps. It's worth being specific about why this particular chip matters so much for a streaming box. Video playback itself isn't the bottleneck. Even budget streaming sticks costing a fraction of the price handle 4K HDR content without any strain. The A17 Pro's real value on the Apple TV comes from 2 places: graphics performance and AI processing. On the graphics side, a more capable GPU opens the door to noticeably more ambitious Apple Arcade titles, ones that push closer to genuine console-style visuals rather than simplified mobile ports. On the AI side, the more capable neural engine is what allows Apple's newly rebuilt Siri experience to run more of its reasoning locally, on the device itself, rather than shipping every request off to a remote server. That local processing is what's expected to make voice interactions faster, more context-aware, and more reliable than what current Apple TV owners are used to. There's also a thermal efficiency angle worth mentioning. The A17 Pro was originally built for a phone, which means it was engineered from the ground up to deliver strong performance within a tight power and thermal budget. Dropping that same chip into a streaming box, a device with far more room to breathe than a phone chassis, gives Apple a lot of headroom to work with. In theory, that should mean the new Apple TV 4K can sustain higher performance for longer without running into the kind of thermal throttling that can affect phones under heavy sustained load. That's speculation rather than confirmed detail, since Apple hasn't published anything about internal thermal design yet, but it's a reasonable expectation given how much more physical space a set-top box has compared to a smartphone. Next up is wireless connectivity, and this is one of the more practically significant upgrades being reported. Current Apple TV 4K models top out at Wi-Fi 6, which was solid when it launched, but is increasingly showing its age in homes packed with connected devices. Reports point to the new model adopting Wi-Fi 7, and the benefits here go well beyond a simple speed bump. Wi-Fi 7 is built on the IEEE 802.11be standard, and one of its headline features is multi-link operation, which allows a device to use multiple frequency bands simultaneously rather than being locked into just one at a time. In a home with dozens of connected devices all competing for bandwidth, phones, laptops, smart lights, security cameras, locks, thermostats, that matters a lot more than raw top-end speed numbers do. Practically speaking, Wi-Fi 7 support on the Apple TV means smoother 4K and potentially higher bitrate streaming even when the rest of the house is busy, since the device can dynamically shift between bands to avoid congestion. It also means noticeably lower latency for anything time-sensitive game controller input, for instance, or real-time voice command processing for the new Siri experience. Wider channel bandwidth, up to 320 MHz on the 6 GHz band under the Wi-Fi 7 standard, allows for significantly higher throughput than Wi-Fi 6 was capable of, which is particularly useful if Apple is positioning this device as a more capable smart home hub that needs to reliably coordinate a growing number of connected accessories at once. Given that Apple has also been pushing wider adoption of Thread and Matter for smart home devices, better wireless hardware isn't just about streaming. It's about making sure the Apple TV can reliably sit at the center of an increasingly crowded home network without becoming a bottleneck. Storage is the next piece of the puzzle, and it's one of the more consistently mentioned upgrade areas across various reports. The current lineup offers 64 gigabytes and 128 gigabytes configurations, which was reasonable when the third-generation model launched, but has become an increasingly common complaint among longtime owners. Larger game downloads through Apple Arcade, high-resolution screensavers that Apple bundles into tvOS, offline downloads for travel. All of that eats into limited storage faster than most people expect from a device they don't think of as needing much local space. Expect the new model to push toward higher baseline storage, potentially starting at 128 gigabytes with a higher tier option offering considerable